Hey, what's up everybody? Dr. Strong here, and thank you so much for watching this video and subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate all of your support. We're going to be talking about the one vitamin that is a must-have for cancer patients. So this one vitamin has some really good research behind it, and studies show that it can actually help you in combating cancer. And we're going to be talking about that throughout this video. So be sure that you stay until the end because there is a lot to uncover in this video, and we're going to be taking a really deep dive into vitamin E and what it can do and just the research behind it. I will post links to all the research studies in the description so you can check it out. You can go there and reference it yourself if you want to learn more and see what these research studies are saying. But I'm going to give you a pretty good breakdown of what these studies are saying and then just what they're showing to help with when it comes to helping cancer patients overcome that obstacle. Now, also in the description, I'm going to put a free keto guide in there. So if you're having trouble getting started on keto and you want to try it out, it's going to outline everything for you. So it's a 28-day keto challenge, so you can try it out. It's going to have what foods to eat, what foods to avoid. It's going to have example meal plans for all 28 days. It's also going to have recipes and everything in it that you need in order to give keto a shot, because we know that blood sugar is one of the biggest issues when it comes to cancer and developing cancer and just chronic inflammation. And so that's something that we really want to address, and the keto diet can help us do that. Now, before we get started, please be sure to like and subscribe this video if you find it helpful. Share it with your friends and family, because my mission is to help as many people as possible overcome their chronic health conditions so that they can have the highest quality of life possible. And by sharing this video, liking and subscribing, you help me accomplish that mission. So thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate that. Now, let's get into the topic today. Now, with cancer as one of the leading causes of health concerns today, this essential vitamin, vitamin E, can be a game changer when it comes to combating cancer. While this is not advice, you can bring this up with your doctor and show them these studies that I'll have referenced below so that you can look at adding that into your regimen. Or if you want to try the vitamin E that we're specifically going to be talking about, there is a full script link below. You can sign up there and you can order vitamins. It's like the Amazon for vitamins, so you can check that out as well. Now, there have been multiple people in my family with cancer, including my mother, who had breast cancer. And she was able to beat it, but knowing what we know now, we have drastically changed her lifestyle. So she was constantly drinking Diet Mountain Dew, consuming a lot of sugary foods. And we really changed her diet, got her on a more like fat-based, less like refined sugar diet. And she's done great ever since, and she was able to overcome that. So I definitely understand what it's like to, be part of a family with somebody who is struggling with cancer. I've had uncles with cancer. So I've definitely seen that side of it. And I just want to let you know that that's why I'm making this video, so that you can get the most valuable information about how to combat these things correctly. With all that being said, let's talk about this essential vitamin. Now, are you aware that real vitamin E is really 8 entities and it's not just one? So this is kind of where people get confused. Now, it consists of 4 tocopherols, alpha, beta, delta, gamma, and then 4 tocotrienols, okay? Now, excuse my southern accent, but hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. Now, what I find extremely alarming is that most researchers that study vitamin E only use one of the 8 parts of the vitamin E. Now, the one part that they do use is the most inferior part of the vitamin E component, and it is called alpha tocopherol. So if you've done any research in the vitamin world, you've probably heard of this. Now, to make matters worse, they often use a synthetic form, so that means man-made. It's not a natural occurrence, which is not effectively used by the body. So a lot of these added vitamins and minerals that they're adding to food products or that you're taking through certain supplements, especially if they're like a store brand, they may be synthetic forms that can't be readily used by the body. Now, this is a big issue when it comes to malabsorption and malnourished bodies that lead to these chronic conditions that we see. Now, according to my research, tocotrienols turn on the P53 gene that leads to suicide of cancer cells. So It's that particular part, the tocotrienols, that turn on the gene in these cancer cells to make them essentially go away. Now, this is the reason you will periodically read or hear in the news that vitamin E does not help cancer or heart disease or longevity or some other problem. And the reason again is that most of these studies you hear on the news only use the synthetic alpha tocopherol. Now, what we can say is that these studies don't really have much warrant when it comes to the real effectiveness of vitamin E because they're not using the proper form of vitamin E. Now, every time I hear or read about a negative story on vitamin E, the first thing I do is go right to the medical paper and see what vitamin E they used. Now, you probably already guessed, it is almost always the alpha tocopherol synthetic version that they're using, which isn't doing anything, and we know that there are other constituents of vitamin E out there that can be more effective. Now, if you want to know if you are taking an inferior supplement, simply just check the label for vitamin E, and if you read it is alpha tocopherol, you know you have been duped by all the fancy advertising. So I know it's hard to really process all this information that is out there, but that's why we have this channel, so that we can educate ourselves and to help you understand what is real and what isn't. Now, in fact, you will see many of these inferior vitamins simply say vitamin E and not even state what type of vitamin E. So if you really want to dive into it and understand what type of vitamin E you're taking, call the company, ask them what you're taking, or get it from a reputable source. Now, with these inferior vitamins that simply state vitamin E, you can bet that it is the cheapest and least effective vitamin E, the alpha tocopherol. Now, in addition, if the dose is around 30 IUs, then it is extremely worthless and can do more harm than good. So those are just some red flags that if you see that it's the alpha tocopherol, if you see that it just says vitamin E, if it's a generic brand, and then if the dose is only around 30 IUs, then a lot of the times that is not a good form. Now, many of these makers are not that dumb. They are hoping people can be easily influenced by all the mass media and hope they are not up to the important 8 parts of the vitamin E component. So by watching this video and sharing this video, you can help people become more educated about real vitamin E and the benefits behind it and what the false advertising is behind vitamin E. Now, most of the vitamins in the grocery store, for example, are usually this type of vitamin E. Now, the good news is I want you to be up on the real facts of vitamin E by watching this video. Now, the media may be able to fool the majority of people, but I don't want you to be fooled into taking something that is hyped up to be good for you when it is not. Okay, so that's why we're here, to help get you educated on what is real and what isn't. Now, hoping you never get this news, the makers of these inferior supplements don't include the most powerful part of vitamin E, and that is the tocotrienols. So, if you're looking for a vitamin E supplement, you want to make sure that it's the tocotrienols, not the alpha tocopherol. They not only help lower cholesterol and make the immune system stronger to fight off infections, but it also protects the brain. So it actually can be very neuroprotective for the brain. Now, high doses have been found to inhibit all sorts of cancers when researchers induce them. So that's pretty cool. It turns out that gamma and delta tocotrienols accumulate highly in tumors as well as liver and lungs. Now, here's something to commit to memory. You cannot fool a cancer cell. They don't take up synthetic forms of vitamin E, so that's why these alpha tocopherol variants are not very effective. They will only take up the actual natural form of the vitamin E, the tocotrienols, specifically the gamma and delta versions. In fact, alpha tocopherol, the cheap vitamin E, lowers the levels of helpful tocotrienols. So there's an inverse relationship. So if you're taking the alpha tocopherols, it can actually lower the tocotrienols. And what does that tell us? That tells us that the chances for those cancer cells to actually go away is actually getting reduced by the alpha tocopherols and not the tocotrienols. So be very careful about that. Go back and read your supplement labels, especially if you're taking a vitamin E, and make sure that you're taking the right form. Besides being taken up into cancer cells to stop their growth, it also turns on that P53 gene that leads to the suicide of cancer cells. So it actually makes them go away. Now, you must have enough tocotrienols and other nutrients to get an edge on cancer. But hopefully this has given you some insight, and hopefully this makes you become aware of the mechanisms of vitamin E and the real truth behind the vitamin. So look at your supplements, look at what you're taking, make sure that it's the tocotrienols that you're going to be taking in order to help turn on that gene will cause the cancer cells to self-destruct. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you have found this information helpful, then please help me achieve my mission of helping as many people as possible by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate your support. It's my mission to help as many people as possible overcome their chronic health conditions. And by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video, you help me accomplish my mission. So thank you so much. Now, if you have any questions, please just put them in the comments below. Reach out to me. There are also links to how to get a hold of me in the description. So you can check out some free resources there. Like I said, you can get that keto diet there. There are a few other free resources there as well. If you need anything, please just reach out to me. I love talking to everybody. The YouTube community has been so much better than any other platform that I've been on, and I really appreciate all of your support. And yeah, if there's anything else that I can help you with, please let me know. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.